I listened to my colleague's endless complaints about how difficult it was for her to raise a child alone, her voice tinged with fatigue, and her hands gesticulating, as if trying to physically convey the weight of her burden. She needed me to fill in for her on the unfortunate date, though she wouldn't say why. I listened with a stony expression, not getting into her story to keep my distance. "Be human, Alex," she said, pleading and command mixed in her tone. "Cover for me. I'll be in your debt, and next week I'll take your shift." I wrinkled my nose in annoyance. I was counting on a quiet day off, a rare opportunity to enjoy the quiet solitude of an empty house and clear my head, especially with my wife away on a business trip. The absence of her comforting presence made these moments of rest even more necessary. The peace and quiet was a chance I didn't want to miss. Still, her pleading gaze swayed me. Reluctantly, I agreed, cursing my inability to refuse. Emma's joy was instantaneous. She embraced me warmly, her arms wrapped around me with almost desperate relief, her laughter bursting out as if a heavy weight had finally been lifted off me. The contrast between her radiant expression and my reluctant agreement couldn't have been more stark. My weekend was ruined, but she fluttered around, glowing with relief. I sighed and went to get a coffee, hoping it would improve my mood. The bitter smell was a small comfort. "Thank you," she said, catching my bright smile. "You have no idea how much this means to me." "We'll get even later," I muttered, taking a sip of coffee to burn. My irritation increased, but Emma didn't notice it. Instead, she looked around nervously, her eyes darting into the shadows as if expecting someone to appear, and then took my hand and led me into the dimly lit back room. The air seemed heavier with each step. There was a tension in it that I couldn't quite grasp. "I still have to thank you properly," she said quietly as she undid the buttons on her top. Her careful, hesitant movements made me freeze, torn between duty and the consequences of her actions. Time seemed to stop. Her bold yet vulnerable gaze held my gaze, stirring a storm of conflicting emotions, doubt, curiosity, and a gnawing sense of guilt. The weight of the moment pressed down, promising that no matter what choices I made, nothing would ever be the same again.